Hello, Potato. We are in downtown Sacramento today to get out of the hot summer sun and into the California State Railroad Museum. I'm not a big train person, but hey, a train museum sounds like it should be on. I've actually been here one time many years ago, so I have very, very vague memories of it. So yeah, let's go inside, get out of the sun, and look at us some trains. We're in the museum now. We're actually technically still in the lobby, and I thought we'd stop and look at this nifty little sculpture made of railroad spikes and a lantern and other bits of metal. There are 3 levels of museum to check out, and of course we will go check out the museum store at some point. And there's a pressed penny machine, which unfortunately I don't have any change with me, so hopefully there is somewhere along the way to acquire some change. That's pretty cool. There are no food or beverages beyond this point, but water's okay. Looks like they sell a souvenir last spike. Maybe some reproduction railroad dishes. California poppies. Nice. Have an old-timey train signal. And then we have some artwork here by Cheng Zheng from 2015. Undoubtedly commemorating the Chinese laborers' hands in the building of the western portion of America's railroad system. And this is pretty cool. So we have this mural here, but if you get in close, it's one of those murals made of lots of little pictures. You can really see some of them. Not totally sure the theme. I'm guessing because we have like George Bush there. I'm guessing it's something to do with. Oh, there's a sign over here. Let's not too nauseatingly fast head over here and see what this is. Limen Zhao groundbreaking ceremony 2019. So I guess I have no idea. I mean, that appears to be what the overall mural is of. I have no idea what the theming of the pictures is, but still an impressive work. Let us begin, I guess, at the beginning. Here we have a room about the Transcontinental Railroad. They do actually do museum tours here, but there's no time on it. So I don't know if maybe we've missed them. We shouldn't have missed them for that. It's pretty early still. But we do have this really large train display. And information about Anne Judah. I guess that would be Anne Judah's tent. Who was Anne Judah? A woman of social standing in the 19th century, she did not devote her life to domestic or charitable functions. Instead, Anna worked side by side with her husband. When Theodore Judah dedicated his life to the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad, Anna's skills and support helped him achieve the goal. Anna accompanied her husband on some of his Sierra survey trips, wearing pantaloons and gaiters, pants and boots. She sketched the trails and terrain on his lobbying trips to Washington, D.C. Anna organized Theodore's notes and maps. It may be, I was just the wife for him, she wrote years later, for I never held back. So this would be her, or at least a reproduction, of her surveying and map-making equipment. I don't think that's her, though. So it looks like this tunnel here isn't quite finished yet, not quite train ready. So I guess we're gonna have to go around the front to the back side here, where we see some more information about the Chinese laborers and their work, their use on the trains. There's a lot of interesting artifacts in here. So an oil lamp, vases. So these are all things that were owned by the Chinese workers. See soup bowls and spoons and tea sets. And this is apparently a headphone zone. The Star Drill. The Chinese workers used hand tools and black powder to bore into the solid granite of the Sierra Nevada. So there's a wheel here. I guess we should turn the wheel and see what it does. I'm assuming it must do something. Oh. Hammer's going up. I don't know why this is maybe headphone zone means like there's some narration that goes with it, because that's not particularly loud. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be. It would actually break into the granite, wouldn't it? Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. Here's what I'm assuming is a reproduction of a sign commemorating laying 10 miles of track in one day. A select crew of Chinese and Irish set to work directed by construction boss James Stowbridge. They labored through the grueling 12-hour day, refusing to yield to a relief crew standing by. Working with military precision, they handled 25,800 ties, 3,520 rails, and 55,000 pounds of spikes, and 7,040 space bars, 14,080 bolts, 4,362,000 pounds of material. Here we have the Silent Spike. In 1865, the Central Pacific Railroad recruited workers directly from China. These workers built the western portion of the nation's first transcontinental railroad. So this would be the Silent Spike. It's a sculpture commemorating those Chinese workers. Not only beautiful, but functional. That has a watch in it. And then over here we have a model train this way to India. You can pause and read that if you want. Countdown to Promontory, 150 years ago in transcontinental railway history. So it looks like we can, I don't know how well this will work with the camera, but let's see if we can't see what there is to see. So it looks like it's just little cards. What do we have in here? Is that a person standing in water? So you can't see it because it doesn't work on the camera, but it's actually sort of it's like one of the stereoscope things. So I can see it in sort of 3D. What else do we have here? We've progressed now to this big room full of old train cars. We got a locomotive down there. And I guess if you put your headphones on, you can, there's like some sort of like audio tour you can probably listen to while you're here. Can we get on any of these trains? That's the question. Answer is probably no. It'd be a wise answer. See the Virginia and Truckee Railroad. Got the Nevada Central Railway. Got some more California history back there. I've seen buildings look like that before. There are a lot of train depots that look like this. The one in Roseville, and there's a few others that are this like same like yellow color and same basic general design. Oh, so we can't go in there because it's already occupied. That's the thing with all museums nowadays. There are a lot of opportunities to get pictures. Like you can come right up here to the ticket booth. I'm not sure what that is. I guess it's something to occupy children. But you can come into the railroad station's lobby and go right up to the ticket booth and see that the ticket agent is going to apply to Lemelson Mitt. We can get a closer look at her. Cool old-timey like phone radio set. Is that a phone or a radio? Yeah, you can get your picture in here like you're buying a ticket for the old-timey railway. You can get a little bit of a clearer shot of her out here too. She's been eating eggs on the job. Oh, the whole room's gonna smell of sulfur now. Of course, the history of California and the history of trains are firmly intertwined. So it's kind of some information about the intersection of the two. And then up here, we've got another train car and a bunch of the old-timey train logos and symbols and posters. Some of them maybe not acceptable so much anymore. We have, this appears to be a touch screen, but it doesn't seem to be working. We can take a look here, peek into the crew quarters. The chef and porter occupied the small crew quarters when they were not attending to the needs of their guests aboard the Gold Coast. So I guess this must be the Gold Coast. We have there, I've seen smaller kitchens than this. Not by much. Elegant gourmet meals could be prepared by the Gold Coast chef. I feel like you couldn't prepare very many at a time though. It's like you get some sherbet, got some Jello chiffon in there, got a donut maker, do some fresh donuts in the morning. Got ivory flakes and Tide. And a cute little dish drying rack. Moving on to the fancier portions, this would be where the rich people sat. The dining room. I'm assuming it must have been a very smooth train, given how that table is set. And we have a little sofa in here to relax, I guess, after you eat. A veritable land yacht on wheels, a private railroad car, affords its owners the luxury of traversing the country in comfortable, elegantly appointed combinations. Many private railroad cars can still operate on America's railroads. Here we have the bedroom. It's not for tall people. I don't think I could stretch out in there. It would be tight. It would be tight no matter what. Then we have the water closet. Got a sink and a shower. No toilet though. Must be one somewhere though. We have the parlor area. Someone's playing a little bit of little cards in here and having a smoke. And then down here at the end of this private car, we do have a sitting room area. We've got a desk for doing some correspondence, and then lots of places to sit. Oh, yep, over here, yes, there is over here a fireplace. Sorry for the glare. I don't know how clear any of this is going to be, but observation lounge is what it's actually called. In an elegant display of 19th century opulence, the Gold Coast features an empire-style ceiling, exquisite leaded glass, clear story and transom windows, inlaid mahogany paneling, and a simulated fireplace. So I guess these would be the transoms, or is that... The transom's over a door, isn't it? Look at the stained glass over there, though. That's really nice. I guess it pays to have money, doesn't it? And if you get bored, didn't have TV up, but you got this lovely camera you can take some pictures with. I don't feel like... I wonder what kind of pictures you'd get out of that as you zip by America. On the other side of the Monterey and Salinas Valley car, we have information about electrification. You can see over here there are electric wires. Remember, we did have a telegraph and a telephone in the rail station there. And yeah, you can see the electrical wires, I guess all the telegraph and telephone wires, as they lead through the room. And we have information here about the telegraphs, the telephones, and these awesome little glass resistors. You can actually find these sometimes in like antique shops and stuff. There's a lot of them still floating around. They just look really cool. I think we actually have a couple of them somewhere at home that had been my wife's grandfather's. At the end of the car, or I guess actually the front of the car, because there's an engine in front of us here. Although it's guys facing back around, we'll get to that. We do have a cargo area, including a crate being sent to Mr. C.S. Abbott. I'm assuming Mr. Care of the Abbott House, Salinas City, California, and a whole crate of pure lard oil. We move here to the engine, or I guess back here to the engine, because the way he's looking backwards makes me feel like he's maybe well, they're not moving anyway. It's still hooking up. Maybe that's why he's looking back, because they're hooking up. But we do have, this appears to be a wood-fired train. We have a display about lantern signals. We have, yeah, I would look like that too, if I spent all day just chucking wood into the engine. I would have that look on my face as well. But up here at the front of the engine is information about the crew. You know, do kids today want to grow up to be train engineers? That was still a thing when I was a kid. Not as much of a thing, I think, as it was in like pop culture. I know, like, you know, in old TV shows and movies and stuff, people always wanted to grow up to be train engineers. And I don't know if that's still a thing, or are trains just so far out of like the everyday reality of modern kids that it doesn't even register. We do have another car on this side with some information about adding machines and cocktails. I feel so. This is, I guess, some of the things that workers did, like serve drinks. And I'm sorry, it's a figuring machine and not an adding machine. We also have like cutting torches, rivet guns. So people who worked on the road didn't all get to just be engineers or conductors. They had to Some of them had to do the harder stuff, like actually maintaining the train or mixing drinks. And over here we have the Georgia Northern car. You can't go into, I think there's a couple cars I think you can go into. This is another one that you can't. But if you look above the top there, I don't know if we get back far enough to see it. There is the California Zephyr, which is actually a train you can still ride. Someday I'd like to do that. We have some more information on people actually building the lines. Weirdly, they seem to have started just in the middle. Now, a lot of these tracks, I think, actually in here can be made usable if you take the wood out of them, because the cars are actually all on real tracks. Can we get a peek in the window here? Can't get up there, but maybe we can get a peek in. You can see it, I can't. So what was it? Did it look cool? I like that. I legitimately can't see. From what I can see on the screen, it looks like it looks cool in there. We can get a better shot from the back. Looks like it's, I guess, a sitting room. Again, you already know. I'll know when I edit. Oh, hold on. There's stairs. Well, that was dumb of me, wasn't it? It's the same room we were all looking at before, isn't it? Oh, wow. Well, that was dumb. Up these stairs, we have a freight car or a box car. Looks like maybe a refrigerated box car based on the door. And this one we can actually go inside. It is sadly not refrigerated. It's reasonably warm in here. There's information here about canning. And a bit of video art. Now, of course, they didn't have like refrigeration, like compressed gas like we do today. The train cars were just basically giant ice boxes, which they very inefficiently stacked big blocks of ice in to keep all the vegetables and fruit and stuff, the non-canned items, chilled in here. And then we can get a view of the room from up here. To be fair, you can only get a view of like half the room. There's a wall there holding up the next level. Here we have the freshest produce you can get back in this day and age, where it's just straight off the cold car, right here for sale on the train platform. Here we have a section titled Travel by Train, including dinner in the diner. So it looks like we have maybe a dining car here. Hopefully we can go into it. We have a display of, I guess, reproduction. I don't know if this is reproduction or if this is the original California poppy dishes. You can buy the reproductions in the store, though we saw those in the display window back at the beginning of the store. And then we have this information booth here, which I think the only information you can tell you is to not go out that door because it will set off the alarm. So we can go into the cars, but we need to start in the, I guess, the sleeper car first and then move over to the dining car. So let's... Oh, the toy train's that way. Well, we'll definitely have to go check that out at some point. Let's head on up into the sleeper car. I would actually like to try doing a sleeper car train. Hopefully they'd be a little bit more modern than this, but we have an ice-actuated cooling system. So again, just big giant ice boxes. And then the bathroom, which again doesn't appear to have a toilet. It has a spittoon. Maybe he's no, there's no shoe shine stand. I'm confused. I'm thoroughly confused. We have multiple types of sinks. Maybe he does shaves? So I don't know if you can tell on the camera, the train car actually is rocking like we are on the rails, and you can see sometimes at the windows little flashes of things that we're going past. That ice actuated cooling system actually works pretty well. So not a sleeper car in the way I would think of it, and that looks more like it's just seats, but maybe they slide together. I've been on trains with a little kid. I've been on trains but they were like little cabinets like on Harry Potter, where the seats slid out into beds and just eliminated all the walking space in there. Oh, these could be bunks, yeah. Or could just be luggage storage.
You caught me right in mid-shift. We've got the daytime seats back behind you, and we haven't finished converting all the nighttime seats yet. As you go a little bit further, you'll see the beds, which are all set up. And my porter was here working on it, and he got called away to the other car, so you're stuck here with a not quite finished job. The beds start from what's behind you, of course. First step is the cushions slide together. Then we drop this panel down, which is this, lock it in place, move one of the mattresses down here, and start setting the pillows and sheets and all that good stuff. When the guest is ready to get into bed, George brings a ladder over, hooks it onto the rails here. You climb into bed, George walks off with the ladder, and you're there for the night or until you ring the bell. Now you can see a bell down here. Can't see it behind here because they put the panel up there. Yeah. But each bed has a bell which lights up a signal back where the porter sits. Because he's sitting, he's not sleeping. He doesn't get paid if he goes to sleep. You ring the bell, the porter brings up the ladder. You either go the men or the ladies. When you're ready to come back, you say, George, hooks the ladder up, off you go, off goes George back to the back. And as you get further to the front, you'll see that there are 2 suites, one of which has a private bathroom, which is really nice. Otherwise, you're sharing with everybody else. The ladies is a lot nicer than the men's.
So my wife was correct. Those big compartments at the top were the bunks, and I was right in that the seats do slide out to form together. And yeah, there's the bell the attendant was talking about, like a little doorbell looking thing. And they said the women's restroom was nicer than the men's. And I guess this is the private suite. So yeah, we have the table set up in there and a little couch. I'm guessing the table's turned into the bed, and there's the drop down bed there. And yeah, your own private water closet. And then moving farther down, we'll probably get a better view of the suite through this window. Someone's in the middle of writing the great American novel, no doubt. Oh, this one has a toilet. Still think it was weird that the men's room at the end didn't have a toilet. And then we have to be quiet. Somebody's sleeping, so this is how it looks like converted. Oh, track's rough around these parts. Very narrow. Oh, here's the women's restroom. So, again, I think maybe right behind this wall is maybe the toilet. The women get more space for their sinks, but I guess in olden times you need more. Oh, can I look in? Was there anything there? I couldn't see. I'll see it in editing. All right, let's move over to the dining car. Feeling a bit peckish now. So we'll transfer from one. I wonder if the dining car is still going to be running as well, or if it's going to be quieter. So you can see into the kitchen starting off. So it's a lot bigger than the private car, but I guess the private car wouldn't need to be so big because it's just for like one family. This is for an entire train's worth of people. And I don't really feel rocking, but looking at those tongs, we must be moving. Also, the waiter seems to be a little wobbly, but perhaps he's just gotten into the cooking wine. Moving on. So these narrow hallways give me a little bit of vibes of like our railway of lights, train of lights we did last year, which I would like to do again this year. It was actually quite a bit of fun. But very narrow hallways, because I mean trains can only be so wide. We can see the kitchen out from the other end. Got where they're plating everything up. And he seems to wonder why I'm recording him. Don't worry, dude. Oh, the sound ended. I guess looped. Oh, there's a little motion sensor down there, so I guess maybe if you step inside it sets off some alarm. But we see like sinks and cooking surfaces. A big old thing for coffee, which is important. You have to have coffee, even on the rails. And then you can see in here the different kinds of dishes that different lines had. We have Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe. Southern Pacific had like plates people don't like the food to touch. You got the little divided plates. Chicago, Milwaukee, St. Paul Pacific, and Baltimore. The Baltimore, Ohio is very nice, very kind of blue willow looking. It's even got a little cloche to keep your food warm. Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe, and Amtrak.
Yeah, and some was made by.
So here's, I think, that California poppy.
Yes, I heard you.
Some more Union Pacific. It says what lines they actually were used on as well. Lots of Union Pacific as well. Northern Pacific. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy. Southern Pacific. Great Northern, those are kind of nice. I like the Great Northern ones. I like the California poppy ones too, but the Great Northern is nice. Southern Pacific in there. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy. Pullman, of course, the creators of or owners of the Pullman car. Southern Pacific. Menu San Francisco Overland Limited. Fancy. And then more Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe. They had a lot of dishes. Like I say, I don't think I've ever heard of them before, but I'm guessing they must have been a very big train line to have so many different types of dishes. Bleeding Blue is nice, but fairly basic. Does say Santa Fe on it, though. And finally, we have New York Central and Western Pacific. It's a nice collection. This is actually a pretty wide car. I feel like modern dining cars aren't as spacious as this. Got another engine sitting out here, the Virginia and Truckee number 18, the Dayton. Built here in Sacramento at Central Pacific Shops, Virginia and Truckee number 18. The Dayton was a workhorse for the VNT and a Hollywood superstar. Okay, so what has it been in? Surely we would tell us if it's a Hollywood superstar. Oh, it's just a thing where you can scan it with your phone. Well, I was kind of hoping for some signage if it's a Hollywood superstar. I mean, does that mean that it was used in movies? Or does that mean it was like pulled Hollywood superstars? I guess I checked out that QR code, I could find out. Over here we have something that's had all the siding stripped off of it. You shouldn't need to say no climbing on this stuff, but this is the F7 diesel locomotive. And it tells you what all the little bits are. I guess I don't see numbers. Oh, they're on the sign. It tells you what all the little bits of it actually are, so you can compare them to the picture and then look at the actual real diesel locomotive. So remember, whenever you see locomotives, you think they're big and they're spacious, and there really is just a tiny little compartment and then a whole bunch of actual engine. The thing that makes it work is the vast majority of the space. Sort of like space rockets. We have a Great Northern United States Mail Railway Post Office car over here. There's another one we can climb up into. It's like we're not going to see any of that fancy Great Northern dishware in there. But I think this is a working vehicle. So we have another engine over here, but maybe we can see that better from another angle. So up into the rail car. Lots of room for packages and letters. The Railway Post Office. So we have a full-on, once functioning rail car here for mail. So I'm guessing, so you see on movies and stuff, they'd put the hook out and snag the big bags off of the hooks as they went past. So my guess is this is where they would take those bags and unpack everything and sort it out to where it was going to eventually go. Like people used to do in real post offices, just with more death-defying bag grabbing as they went flying past. I'm sure if I actually stopped to read all the little signs, it probably would tell me how it actually worked. And then someone seems to have left their lunch. We have a memorial to forgotten railroad workers. And clearly, they were pretty badass. I mean, look, he's swinging that hammer so hard it is actually bending the handle. I mean, but again, they without these workers, without these people from other lands, we wouldn't have the railway that we have today, for better or worse the way it is today. But I mean, America would not have advanced the way it did without the help of these people who came here seeking a better life and found extremely hard and dangerous labor. I knew we'd get a better view of this one. This is the C.P. Huntington Southern Pacific Railroad locomotive number 1 from 1863. All restored back to its original glory here, to be protected indefinitely. Oh, look at this. Big stained glass Southern Lines, or Southern Pacific logo. And then we have miniatures. Gotta love some miniatures. We've got the Southern Pacific Solano. And looks like trains actually traveled by boat. I did not know that. So again, I guess it makes sense you have car ferries, so you'd also have train ferries to get to places that tracks couldn't go. There's a seal on that boat. So we have another train we can go into. We can go into the engine this time. 4294. Let's go find our way into this. Is this the... Looks like this is the entrance. Okay. So let's head on up into 4294. You can also get a glimpse into... That a livestock car? I guess we'll have to go back down and see what that is exactly. Doesn't look for passengers though. Up here, look at the engine. So we go inside, gotta duck a little bit, narrow doorway, but into the actual engine and see all the various knobs and levers. And down there into the coal-fired heart of the locomotive. I feel like that fan's probably not original. So here's one of the interactive screens that's actually functioning, or maybe it's interactive, I don't know. But it's functioning. And looks like this car's been shot up, or woodpeckers, or what is this? Looks like they're in the process of maybe restoring it. But yeah, from that it looks kind of like it's maybe some sort of a livestock car. Just let's see if we can get a good look inside. What do you think? Livestock? Some toy trains. Now, there's supposed to be a room full of toy trains. We're going to go check that out. And then this brings us back to where we started. We're back by back at the beginning of this room, by the 1910 tunnel and the train station. So I guess it's time. We've spent a lot of time in this room. Oh, look, I didn't even notice that. Well, we're going to see that one up there. I see there's people walking up there. There's a train up there. So yeah, there's supposed to be 3 levels here. So let's go find ourselves another level. Oh, there's actually one more thing in here, and that is the VNTRR Empire Virginia and Truckee Railroad. It says from 1873, and it looks like it's a wood-fired engine. Seems to be something that's so old that's been restored. And then here's the outside of that engine. We have to go inside. It's another huge one. It's not the big boy. Not the big boy we saw last year. But it is another huge, fairly, I don't know, kind of steampunky engine. I must say the big boy looks a little more Fallout-y. But this looks a little more steampunky. And why not? I mean, that's literally what steampunk is based on, right? We have some more train spike art here. It's like got a rivet gun they're trying to use to drive one of their own into some steel. I almost forgot there's actually one more very important thing to see here on the first floor, and it's not this interactive exhibit, it's closed, but it is the Golden Spike. With signatures etched into it and some words here on the side, and a lovely little protective case. I think it actually, I want to say that like night, this actually retracts into the podium. I don't know why I think that. I've heard that somewhere or read that somewhere. Absolutely could be apocryphal. But there's going to be a better view of it on that panel there, or that screen there. So you can see the words. And then information about the final spikes. And then in here is a commemorative locket. The used commemorative gold locket was donated to the California State Railroad Museum and the people of the state of California by Jean H. Johnson and her family. Well, thank you, Jean. We have graduated up to the second level and we're greeted by a large-scale miniature train. Model of the Blue Jay Western, designed and built by train enthusiast Bernard Farman from South Dakota. So a little more interactive up here. If you can improve one thing about trains, what would it be? More to more places to make them bigger. And then somebody wants to Marta in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, what? Hold on. What is your earliest memory of a train? Marta in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh. Looks like you can build some stuff over here. Like giant kind of wooden erector set things. And it looks like foam tracks. And then what's over this way? Looks like some more buildings. Some like, not Lincoln logs, but just like little wooden sticks. You can build them. Hey, creativity, right? So the second floor, kind of not a lot to do on, but if we go to the third floor, we can see some toy trains. Let's go look at some toy trains. As long as there have been railroads, there have been toy trains. And here we have a Lionel exhibit here. Lionel electric trains. And I feel like this is a thing that is not going to be around with us too much longer, not in any sort of a mainstream way. I think the older people in my generation are probably the last ones to really be into model railroads. As a kid, I was really impressed with them. I never owned one. The Lego monorail is as close as I ever got. But here we see stuff from the Thomas W. Sefton collection, or the Sefton Gallery, including a Lionel little play kitchen. That's kind of cool. Actually, given the time that's from, it probably actually heats up. We have a model plane kit, lots of trucks, and of course, being we're in a railroad museum, lots of trains. What is that kind of engine called? Lego did one a few years ago of it. It's like the rhino, the crocodile, something like that. The alligator. Does it say on it? It doesn't seem to. Sadly, there aren't any little signs saying which thing is. We have a little game here where you can play being the collector yourself. Ask collectors the three most important qualities of any toy train. They will answer condition, originality, rarity. So we need to. Okay, so we have no. It's not a game. It's just learning stuff. So you press 1. It tells you about that car, 1926 version. Fewer cars of these colors in certain parts have been found. This version has a higher value. 1930s version. So it's four versions of the same car. I get it. I understand now without reading all the words, which I probably should have done. Number 3 is a 2004 reproduction. Less valuable because it's a reproduction. It's only 20 years old. And then this one is the 1940 version with that. It was a production sample. This color variation indicates Lionel kept the car as a production sample. Let's move on to the toys. You know me, I love toys. Let's check out the toy railroads. Yeah, this thing. What is this called? Marklin. Nah, that's not what I'm looking for. There's a name for it. It was I think fairly niche but collectible Lego set. Not one that I got because I don't do Lego trains, but we have some train scenery here. Some old kind of tin style trains. Varying qualities of detail level, and some of these look fairly kind of low end, and then you have some that look really nice and fancy. And I'm sure, of course, I think these are also from different years. This is the early years. These are actually electrified. So that's probably a part of it.
You don't push that, you push this. You push this.
At the corner of Broadway and Main, we have Lionel City. Lots Lionel's like the name in toy trains, right? I mean, I think if you are aware of all of toy trains, you're aware of Lionel toy trains. And then up here we have a big functioning model. Oh, they have a toy train mechanic. That would be kind of cool to see. He's only here on Fridays though. Today is not a Friday. But you have a big functioning model train. See, when I was a kid, you'd find these like some malls would have one. I know the Placer County Fairgrounds used to have one like this. I think maybe the San Mateo County Fairgrounds. I have kind of a vague memory of seeing them there. But this is like a full-on functioning train. We can see we have different buttons, I think, to control different trains.
Oh, there it goes.
Different scales represented in here. Because like those houses and people are a lot smaller than these buildings and people. But I suppose also creates a forced perspective sense of overall scale, doesn't it? Here it comes. I think the sun is setting in our train display, which unfortunately makes it even harder to see because there's the sun's not setting out here, but you can see the lights a little better. At least I hope you can. Got that fourth one set up yet? Oh, looks like the fourth one. The standard gauge is set to go now too. Let's give that a try. And here it goes. It's right over here. That one's got freight on it. And spotlights. I think we have them all going at once now. Cool. I was so taken by seeing the big train set that I missed out on this display over here. We have some classic erector set. I had erector sets as a kid. I'm not because I'm that old. I actually got them like thrifting, but they weren't like that. They were, I think, a little bit more modern than that. They were like screws and nuts, not whatever weird mechanism those are. And we have toy boats and cannons, and of course trains. Got to have trains, and some more boats and cars. And I think we saw that exact train station in the big train display. Got some more trains over, including a cute little Christmas train. That elf's not helping Santa at all. And then a whole wall of Lionels. All kinds of different Lionel electric trains, including... We have an Amtrak. Oh, we have Lego. We have Lego. We have Lego. That's the older version, too. That's 4758 Hogwarts Express. That's one of the earlier ones. Yeah, it's actually got the yellow-faced Harry and Ron. That's, I think, possibly the original Professor Quirrell there. I think that's the original Hogwarts Express set. That'd probably be worth something. I mean, I suspect everything in this case is worth something, but... It's Lego. It appeals to me. Oh yeah, that's that one. That's the one we got to go up inside of. We also have something a little more modern, Amtrak. And this is we have Thomas, but I'm not seeing any Thomas. Oh, just one Thomas. I feel like there should be more Thomases than that. Now we have displays of different scales. What's on the side? What's in this? Looks like it's a logging train. Nice little diorama. So we have different scales of trains here. We have the O scale. And then over here we have smaller S scale. Another little cool diorama. And moving on, we have the HO scale, which I feel like this is the scale I saw most when I was a kid. People would have the big fancy sets in stores and stuff, would be the HO scale. It looks like about the right size to me. And moving on to those who can't afford the bigger stuff, we have N scale, which is like practically like Micro Machine almost. Those are teeny tiny. I feel like those would break easily. But they're for how small they are, they're very detailed. And then in the last case, we have Z scale. So see, this is if you ever wondered what people are doing with the briefcases in old movies, that's what it is. They have little train sets in their briefcases that they can just pop out. And like when on the train and stuff, they can play with their trains while they're on the train, and just wish they were doing that instead of whatever they're doing. Yeah, these are like swallowably small. And then I think this is kind of the scale of what Walt Disney had in his backyard. This kind of train, I think it's what helped inspire Disneyland. It's a live steam. When I was a kid, there was a park, I think it was in San Mateo, that had a train, I think maybe a little bit bigger than this. But it was an actual train on an actual track that you could ride around the park in. It was a park. It was a park that had the swinging moons, and it had a working roundabout, like the kind that you push, the kind that you don't see anymore because they're tremendously hazardous and no children should ever have been playing on them. But yeah, they had, I think it was a slightly larger scale than that, though. It was like a real working train on a track, not like that one you see at the mall where it's basically a golf cart dressed up as a train, but an actual like locomotive with a conductor in a conductor outfit, and you could ride the train around the park. And I am assuming even that park is still there, and it might be. I am assuming that train is probably no longer in service. You know, I've been talking. Here's Thomas. We have Thomas over here. We have. Well, that's not Thomas. I'm not sure who that is, but it's presumably one of Thomas's friends. And you can see a Thomas train there, and play some Brio trains. But I think we're a little big for Brio, so we'll move on. If they had Lego, though, I'd probably jump in there. We do have one more locomotive up here from the Nevada Short Line. I thought there was no smoking in this museum. Anyways, railroad locomotive number 1 from 1879. So there's like literally nobody alive who rode on these trains originally. Well, I don't know how many years it was in service, but yes, the pop culture version of the trains. Again, this is the thing I think that's sort of dying out with my generation, is the idea of the hobo riding the boxcars across the country, their big coats and their floppy hats and their cigars, and presumably some cans of beans in there, and they talk about gambling. Gotta know when to hold 'em, gotta know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. We have more train down here. So narrow gauge train. So these are not. So this is not a full size train. This is a narrower gauge. Is it? Yeah, I guess that noticeably is. Not a ton, but narrow gauge freight trains. Pacific Coast Railroad caboose number 2, and Pacific Tank Car number 145, and Boxcar 331. So our hobo friend was in that. So of course the classic train caboose, which again, I mean, it's before my time, but commemorated in movies and cartoons, and of course all of the generation before me's toy train sets. I'll admit, I thought that was it. I thought that train was the last one. But no, there's a whole nother room here. The magic of scale model railroading. The thing I've been talking about not being a thing in another generation, maybe two. There's a whole room dedicated to it here. Lots of stuff still in their original packaging. So I remember seeing like that in craft stores and stuff when I was a kid. I think you probably still can for those kits where you have to make your own missions. Yeah, because schools still, I think, do the build your own mission thing, don't they? But I remember seeing these things for sale, or some of them for sale as a kid. Some of them predate me. But it's such an expensive hobby. I mean, not that Lego's exactly cheap, but look at all these awesome cars. Just in time for June there. Probably not what it's for, but, you know, take what you can get. All these model trains. And we do have one more model railway. It's that small, was it the HO gauge? And we can see, oh, we have the Ninja Turtles. Spider-Man, and yeah, the gentleman room said there's lots of little pop culture references. I think we have the Sound of Music up there. We've got a rainbow unicorn. I don't know if you can see all this on camera. We're fighting some glare here, but we've got a cat stuck up a tree. Kind of want to say that could be Christine, but that's probably a little darker than they want to go. Got Snoopy over here, outside this house. If you see things that I missed, let me know in the comments. I'm trying to catch everything. We have a little wedding over here. I'm trying to catch any references, but you may see some that I don't. We have a couple people making out behind the church. I don't know if that's a specific reference, but it's clearly a hidden little thing. Is that... Okay, that has to be a reference. The couple picnicking with the bears. If it wasn't a guy there, I would say maybe it's like Snow White or something, but... Or if it were Frankenstein's monster, I'd say it's that, but... Yeah, what is that a reference to? The little couple... The couple eating there. Dog in the
looks like Shaggy on the rock there.
That does look like Shaggy. We'll get over to that in a second. Well, we have a taco truck and a big fat guy running after it. I mean, it's going to stop in a second. It doesn't need to run. But yeah, that up there on the hill, that is definitely Shaggy's outfit. Got some hunters up there. We got a scout troop. What is that? On that rock there. Let me see if we can zoom in on it. Is that a minion?
Could be. Oh, yeah, probably.
It's right above there. Is that a minion? I think that might be a minion. Hold on, we're zooming out. We have a barrel of monkeys over here at Chip's Ice House. And... anything up in the water there? Any references up there? Oh, I see the Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid's there on the coast of the lake. I think that plane has a face. That might be one of Thomas's friends. Oh, there's another Snoopy.
Oh, we didn't.
Oh, it's the Red Baron.
Yeah, it is.
Duh, it's Snoopy fighting the Red Baron.
There's two berries.
You found Sasquatch?
I think so, right there.
She did. My wife found Sasquatch. That's not what I wanted to do. My wife found Sasquatch. Hey, buddy. Just hanging out in the woods, middle of the walk. Nobody videoing him though. Or filming him, I guess. It's old enough it was film. by little teeny tiny. And think this isn't even the smallest scale. Oh, there's some more stuff here, more detail here at the train station. We have an alien. I'm pretty sure that is an alien. I was going to say E.T., but the head's not quite right. I think it's just an alien. But then we have some Harry Potter, at least some people in Gryffindor. I'm assuming the one in the front is Harry because it's got an owl. I don't know who the second one is. I mean, it's not Ron. The hair's not right. Could be Hermione. And then back there, I feel like the guy, I'm too far, hold on. I feel like the guy in the red and white is something. He's giving me James Dean vibes. But I don't know that James Dean's associated with trains. But again, this is really cool. And if you get references that I don't get or you saw things that I didn't see, please let me know in the comments. I was told to look for this one last little guy here who's falling off the edge of the world. Of course, if you want to do something right, you're going to want to research into it, study a little bit. I have over here a section about books and magazines about model railroading, including magazines. I wonder how many of these are still in production. That's from 2019. Looks like these are all from 2019. But I wonder how many of those magazines still exist as print magazines now. Yeah, it was a huge hobby. If you weren't aware, railroads were a humongously popular hobby in like the 20th century. I'll tell you what, this museum gives you value for money because around the corner here, there's another section on model railroads. You can see different creations that have been made. Kind of looks like that same scale as the ones in the last room, but maybe with less references, but still the same level of quality and detail. Information about each person. So this was made by Irv Schultz, who passed away in the year 2000. That one by Jim Vale, who passed in 2018. And no information on who made the lime kiln there. So maybe that person is still with us. Yeah, just beautiful detail work in these. It's a lot of work. It's got a Civil War scene here, it says. I guess that's the Civil War scene. We have, this one is based on the town of Occidental, California. We have the San Juan Central from model railroader Malcolm Furlow. Published a series of articles in Model Railroader magazine during the 1980s to explain how he designed and built this layout. And I think we can't get all the way up in there, but look, this is huge. This is a massive undertaking. Somebody built this with their own hands. All the little details, all the building, all the painting. I mean, the track is this look at the Z gauge. This feels tiny. I guess it's not that small. Just that track, they looked really close together. But I guess it's the same as in the other room. We have a whole little town over there. And out here we have, looks like a train yard. All that detail work. And so it's one good thing about using stuff with dirt is if it gets dusty, you can't tell. And we have Chama, New Mexico. Well, this just looks like something out of Red Dead Redemption 2, doesn't it? That's a cool looking piece of equipment there. And now we move over to the seaside to Smuggler's Cove. So we got some pirates here. I mean, pirates as we think of them. We've got rum. We've got the real McCoy rum. I feel like there's going to be more like a late 19th, early 20th century southern U.S. smugglers, not pirates. Although maybe we do have a sailing ship. That kid could be a pirate. You don't know. We have the Armory Wharf Cafe. So is it Armory Wharf Cafe, or is it the Armory and the Wharf Cafe? Like, can you get bullets and a burger? Atlantic Boat Works. I feel like you're not doing a very good job of smuggling if you literally label your business Smuggler's Cove. Unless you're running like a pirate-themed bar, in which case, yeah, you're probably spot on. And then we cross over into... so I guess the town is just called Smuggler's Cove, huh? Because we have Smuggler's Cove flour. That would be a weird thing to smuggle. Well, I suppose, there's tariffs on things, right? But Smuggler's Cove even gets its own little... See, this is why I thought pirates. That's a very piratey look. Just to give you some idea of how wildly varying the scales are, here's this train trestle and train in one scale, and here is the same trestle with admittedly a different train in a much larger scale. And going through model railroad land has led us out to the backside of the Little Thomas Play area, so we can get a little bit of a closer look at the train over here. It's got some of Thomas's friends. We don't see the one where they bricked him up behind the wall, though. That's a sad story, anyways. But Thomas. See, that's Thomas. That big model one, that's not Thomas. And you can actually climb under there and look inside, but we're not going to do that because there are children there, and the fact I'm recording over here at all is probably a little creepy. But I think that's it. I think we finished. I think we finished the museum now. We're going to head out downstairs and see if there's anything else that we missed. And then we go check out the gift shop. Got to check out the gift shop, right? Now, you can't visit a museum without going to the museum gift shop. We can't go in here, though. This is not an entrance. But we have a selection of museum nerd stuff. Now, I don't go to enough museums to be a museum nerd, so I probably won't get any of this. We have like patches. We have a face mask. That's pretty cool. I find those things tend to be a little small for me, though. We have stickers and a mug. And then we can go over into the actual gift shop itself, where hopefully I can get something where I can get some change and get some pressed pennies. I really am annoyed at myself that I didn't bring any change here with me today. We do have a selection of magnets and pins and keychains. We'll have to get a pin. Get a pin of some sort. And we have a selection of pins. I'm guessing at some point this display must have been something you could actually touch. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to tell people to not remove anything from it. We have some reproductions of some of the dishes. Sadly, not either the two that I was most impressed with, but I don't really need train dishes. And then lots of books. And of course, some more Thomas and Friends going around above us. I feel like we definitely need to get a pin. Also, we have some Amtrak, Western Pacific, Santa Fe, playing cards. Got lots of old DVDs and Blu-rays. We have a reproduction of the Golden Spike. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a distinct possibility. Got Thomas. Do we have any Lego train? That's the question. Do we have any Lego trains? Because they showed in one of the windows outside the museum, they showed some Harry Potter stuff. And the only Harry Potter thing we did see was the old Hogwarts Express Lego set. So, but maybe some more in here. Got a big Southern Pacific Line logo. Looks like it's made of tin. And then you have lots of books. Found that Harry Potter stuff. They have some platform 9 3/4 shirts. And then a little model Hogwarts Express and mugs. So, but no Harry Potter Lego, which is fine because that's what Lego stores are for. You can get a Rosie the Riveter duck though. That's pretty cool. The cashier at the gift shop was generous enough to give me coins for the press penny machine. Let's get a couple press pennies. I think first of all we need to get the Railroad Museum logo. So we have our, here we go. We have our quarters and penny. Plug them in. Press the button. And that's interesting. The penny you put in isn't necessarily the penny you get, because I don't think it's the penny I dropped. And then we'll also get, I think, the CP Huntington. So we need to reload. And that crunch. And we have a couple pressed penny souvenirs from the California Railroad Museum, California State Railroad Museum. A couple more for the collection. The trains don't stop just because you leave the museum. And here is appears to be, well, there appears to be a cat. Hello, kitty. But there appears to be this disused train platform with some old trains being stored at, including an old Amtrak engine. And a couple things that I'm not a big train person, so I really can't identify these. Somebody in the comments wants to tell me what types of engines these are. But yeah, not all the trains are inside the museum. It's pretty cool. I wish we could get in there and get a little closer look, but we'll stand here at the bars and see what we can see. Bye, kitty. So that was the California State Railroad Museum, plus that little train shed out. I don't think that train shed was part of the museum. I think it's its own thing, but it was more trains, and we're here to see trains, and we saw trains, and they had trains. So, yeah, we're going to include it as part of this. But get a lot of stuff about trains, and a lot of stuff about model trains in particular, which is pretty cool. And a nice little gift shop at the end. Yeah, second floor. Good activity center for the kids, not so much for the adults, but hey, you gotta have stuff for the kids to do too if you're gonna take them to the museum. But I think I'll wrap this video up. I hope you found it all interesting and entertaining. I do want to thank you for joining us here today at the California State Railroad Museum. We had a good time. I hope you did as well. If you did, go ahead and give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. I do thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.